It's D-U-E-U tell I see you by this point. You're reading my mind. It's time for football. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it. Let's do it. We gon' make this thing official. You heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit. Man, we about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it. Let's do it. We gon' make this thing official. You heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit. Yeah.
Welcome to Football Game Plan's NFL All 32. I am Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and today we're going to preview the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And before we get started, let's take a look at some of the key storylines heading into the Bucs season as we go into our 4-minute offense. Perhaps the biggest offseason news to hit the Tampa Bay area since the announcement of the city of Tampa getting awarded the Bucs franchise is the arrival of two former longtime New England Patriots, Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Both are surefire first ballot Hall of Famers who are definitely at the end of their careers. In fact, it was Gronk who decided to come out of retirement to join the team. Brady moving on from New England instead of retiring is him proving that he still has much more left to give to the game, and that last year's mediocre showing from him was just an aberration. Head coach Bruce Arians is betting on that being the case as well, as he's going all in on the two former Patriots, hoping that Gronk just needed a year off and Brady just needed to be surrounded with better weapons. We will definitely see if that is indeed the case throughout the 2020 season. The Buccaneers have invested a lot of resources into their secondary. They currently have 7 players on that 2 deep that were drafted in the 2018, 2019, and 2020 draft class. So it's a lot of second and third year players mainly, and for those younger experienced players on the squad, we started to see marked improvement last season from them as the season went on, which is why the team is excited about their prospects for the 2020 campaign. Tampa has outlined their secondary with long, rangy players who can both cover and take the ball away. They felt like the missing piece was rookie Antoine Winfield Jr., the second-round pick out of Minnesota, who, along with the rest of the group, aim to make this secondary one of the best ones in the NFL. Staying on the defensive side of the ball, Tampa has done pretty well for themselves recently within the defensive front 7 as far as their acquisitions are concerned. Heading into the 2020 season, the Bucs look potentially dominating at the defensive line and linebacker levels. Now, during the offseason, they were able to re-sign Ndamukong Suh as well as get the tremendous pass rusher SHAQ Barrett back on the franchise tag. And with the emergence of nose tackle Vita Vea and linebacker Devin White, as well as veterans Levante David and also Jason Pierre-Paul, life could get a bit complicated for opposing offenses on game day this upcoming year. Tampa was 15th in the league in total defense last season in year 1 of Todd Bowles' scheme, the defensive coordinator, and when you factor in the abundance of returning talent along with a year's experience within the scheme, the hope is that it yields itself to dominating results on the field. And what looked to be turning into a strength for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers midway through the 2019 season sort of turned into a question mark by season's end, as then rookie kicker Matt Gay started to miss kicks at an alarming rate. What was concerning about his misses were that they were potentially some game-winning ones that could have had the Bucs finish with a 500 or better record last year. The hope is that the majority of what he did last year gives him, and the team for that matter, enough confidence that he can be the long-term answer at the position, because as what we saw with this group last year, it can be the difference in a winning season or a losing one. Tom Brady, who is entering his 21st season in the NFL, has the offensive hopes of the Bucs in the palm of his hands, or his golden right arm for that matter. Tampa is hoping that Brady and his propensity to protect the football will help the Bucs be much more efficient and effective on a drive-to-drive basis. Last year, we know that Jameis Winston threw a league-high 30 interceptions, but even with that ridiculously high number, he still managed to throw 33 touchdowns and over 5,000 yards passing. So the logic is definitely sound here for Tampa. All Tom Brady has to do is protect the football, and the offense should be as explosive as it was last season. With better ball security, that should net the Bucs another 3 to 4 victories, which should be enough to get them into the playoffs. However, the question then becomes, how much better is Brady at this juncture of his career than the aforementioned Jameis Winston? Because if we're being completely honest, Winston's arm is able to make throws that the 2019 version and frankly this 2020 version of Tom Brady just can't make. And if it's just about ball security, I completely get it, but we have to be honest about the ability side of things with regards to the future Hall of Famer. And to me, that's still a bit of an unknown heading into the season. Tampa's backfield has some promise for this upcoming season. The team thought third-year back Ronald Jones made significant strides in his game last year, finishing with the team leading 724 yards rushing with 6 rushing touchdowns. In the 2019 finale against the Atlanta Falcons, Jones had his best performance of the season, going over 100 yards, averaging an impressive 9.6 yards a carry. His continued growth will be huge for this offense. The Bucs also invested in the position in this past draft by selecting Vanderbilt's Keyshawn Vaughn and Louisiana's Raymond Calais. Vaughn gives them another runner who's very similar to that of veteran Dare Ogunbowale. He's a decisive runner who doesn't waste time in getting downhill, while Calais gives them an explosive back who also has tremendous value as a receiver and kickoff returner. He figures to have an immediate impact on special teams, and Dare Ogunbowale is a serviceable back who's capable of excelling in short yardage goal line situations, in addition to the work that he does on special teams. One of the major reasons many are high on the Bucs this season is due to the fact that Tom Brady will have arguably his best set of perimeter weapons that he's had in years, with the duo of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Both guys went over 1,000 yards receiving last year and hauled in a combined 17 touchdowns. Evans does a fantastic job of playing above the rim and has a strong set of hands to consistently make those tough catches, while Godwin has the ability to win short, intermediate, and deep down the field. I really like the fearlessness in which he plays the game, and both players are slated to achieve those impressive numbers once again this upcoming season. Now, where things will get interesting for the receiving core is with the wide receiver 3 position. There should be an intense battle between third-year player Justin Watson and rookie 5th-round pick Tyler Johnson out of Minnesota. Watson has steadily made strides within his game and is stylistically similar to that of Chris Godwin, but so is Johnson, who many thought should have gone higher in the draft. I think both guys actually strengthen the depth here and should find productive roles within this offense. Tight end, in my opinion, is an abundance of riches for the Buccaneers. As we mentioned earlier, joining Tom Brady in Tampa is his former longtime teammate Rob Gronkowski, who is coming out of retirement to help the Bucs passing game. How much has rest helped the future Hall of Famer, who complained about the beating his body took over the course of his career, and how effective can he be after a year away from the game? What we don't have a question about is his chemistry with Brady, which should help in some sense out there on the field on game day. Now, how does his acquisition factor into both O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate's future, both of which are excellent targets? And on the positive side, when you look at it, it gives Tampa the flexibility to attack teams with 2 and 3 tight end sets, which should create all types of matchup problems on game day. And the Bucs still have solid developmental options in Tanner Hudson, Anthony Auclair, and Jordan Leggett. They have the deepest and most talented group of tight ends in the NFL, in my opinion. In the first round of the NFL draft, the Bucs wanted to bolster the offensive line with Iowa tackle TRISTAN. He is expected to step in and start on the right side, hopefully solidifying them on both edges. Wirfs was considered by some to be the most pro-ready tackle in the draft class, and he does a dominant job in the run game. He teams up with veteran Donovan Smith, who has been the model of consistency and durability up front for Tampa Bay. And I like what they have on the interior with guards Ali Marpet and Alex Kappa. It's a testament to the scouting job the Bucs have done there, as both Marpet and Kappa are from Division III and Division II programs respectively and have developed into solid starters. So has Ryan Jensen, who came over in free agency a few years ago from the Baltimore Ravens. With those 3 on the inside, along with the rookie right tackle TRISTAN Wirfs, the Bucs should be much better at running the football in 2020. Now, depth-wise, they attacked free agency well by signing former Colt lineman Joe Haig, who can play both guard or tackle, and they re-signed Josh Wells, who gives them good rotational depth at tackle, and expect both Zach Bailey and Aaron Stinney to continue to make progress within their games in providing depth on the interior. In their 3-4 defense, the defensive line for the Bucs play a huge role. They are not only expected to sustain and occupy gaps, but also be pressure players as well. Tampa owned the #1 rush defense last year and contributed 5.5 sacks to the 47 total, which was 7th in the league, and also racked up 18 TFLs. With Vita Vea entering his 3rd season, we should continue to see his play climb as it did last year. He was in on 35 tackles as well as 12 quarterback hits. Re-signing Ndamukong Suh was a huge move as it eliminated a potential major need for the Bucs heading into the draft. Now, Suh still plays at a high level as he's entering his 11th season out of Nebraska. In 2019, he scored 2 touchdowns off the 4 fumble recoveries he had and also batted down 4 passes. Tampa got productive play from William Golston, especially in the run game, and they drafted Khalil Davis from Nebraska, who will join forces with Raheem Nunez-Roches as the rotational pieces up front. Where the Bucs pose a problem for an opposing offense is with their outside rush. Last year in his first season in Tampa, SHAQ Barrett led the league in sacks with 19.5. He also recorded 19 TFLs, and both numbers were the highest of his career, proving what he could do with extended playing time after spending the first 5 years of his career as a rotational player in Denver. He's looking to stack back-to-back strong seasons, hoping to parlay that into a longer-term deal with the Bucs. Opposite of him is the longtime veteran Jason Pierre-Paul, who was second on the team with 8.5 sacks, and where he gets criminally underrated, in my opinion, is in his ability to play the run. I think this has been a significant area of growth for him over the course of his career, and it'll be interesting to see how second-year player Anthony Nelson out of Iowa gets integrated into the mix. I like the versatile nature of his game. He's able to play with his hand on or off the ground. He dealt with a hamstring injury last year and figures to play a significant role within the rotation. But keep an eye out for Cousin Daniels, who was an undrafted rookie free agent last year and ended up on the practice squad. He's got some pass rushing chops and will definitely get a look-see this year in training camp to see how much he's developed over last year. So we look at him as well as another undrafted rookie free agent, Cam Gill out of Wagner, who's got some juice coming off the corner and showed down at the East-West Shrine Bowl this past January that he's also very comfortable in dropping back in coverage, but it will be his pass rushing ability that can help his cause in making a team. Inside linebackers, where the Bucs also have 2 legit studs in Levante David and second-year player Devin White out of LSU. Now, David is a Cool G Rap version of the NFL, notoriously talented but criminally underrated each and every year. He led the team in tackles with 123. White was as good as advertised, showcasing his type of speed and acceleration to make him a threat on both ends of defense. And despite missing 3 games, he still finished with 91 tackles, forcing 3 fumbles, breaking up 3 passes, and scoring 2 touchdowns. Now, depth is a work in progress here, as they do have some stability with Kevin Minter, the longtime veteran, but questions still arise with the rest of the group, and hopefully Jack Sitchie can stay healthy enough to contribute, and rookie Chappelle Russell out of Temple can work his way into a reserve role as well. I am a fan of the collection of youthful talent the Buccaneers have on the corners. The latter part of the season, we started to see Carlton Davis and then rookie Jamil Dean make big strides in their respective games. So did rookie Sean Murphy-Bunting, who led the team as a rookie in interceptions with 3. Their progress gave the Bucs a glimpse into what the future could potentially be at the position. You're talking about 3 6-foot-plus corners who are active around the ball. MJ Stewart is another key player on the outside who has the capability to play safety as well. He gives them solid depth at both spots. But I really like the game of undrafted rookie free agent Parnell Motley out of Oklahoma. His game is almost similar to that of Carlton Davis. He's got good fluidity for the position and will make things very interesting during camp. At safety, the anticipation of rookie Antoine Winfield Jr. has the Buccaneers staff very excited. He potentially gives them an athletic move piece at the position who has outstanding instincts and ball skills. His game reminds me a lot of Earl Thomas when he was coming out of Texas. Pairing him up with the versatile Jordan Whitehead does give defensive coordinator Todd Bowles all sorts of potential matchup possibilities on the back end. Whitehead is a terrific run defender and plays the alley really well. The team also got really good play from Andrew Adams last year, as he proved to be a valuable rotational depth player on the roster, and I would expect the game to slow down a bit for second-year player Mike Edwards from Kentucky, who should see his play then stabilize and improve. And Tampa is holding out hope for the former second-round pick Justin Evans out of Texas A&M that he can return to form after dealing with foot injuries. If he can, he will add a significant boost to the position. Football Game Plan is brought to you in part by 9th and Lux. Visit the website 9thandlux.com and check out the clothing gallery. Nesby Phipps, art, life, entertainment. NesbyPhipps.com. Grind It Out Fitness. Visit the website grinditoutfitness.com and download the app. Financial Coaching LLC, investment, retirement, security. Stewardship Credit, financial growth is in your hands. Stewardshipcredit.com. Adrienne Marie Photo, photographer, writer, management. AdrienneMariePhotography.com. Lock Multimedia. Be sure to order your copy of the Go-Go Offense by Coach Brennan Marion on footballgameplan.com/GoGo Offense. Coach Marion goes through the ins and outs of his explosive offense, one that's tearing up the college football field and putting a lot of points on the scoreboard. Again, you can order your copy at footballgameplan.com/GoGo Offense. Ronald Jones will surprise some at how confident he is within the offense this training camp, and that confidence will have him looking like the Ronald Jones who we saw coming out of USC 3 years ago, which should mean big things for the Bucs run game. NASIR, player out of East Tennessee State, is a heavy-handed point-of-attack player with some versatility to serve in a variety of roles up front. He has a chance to compete for a spot within that rotation, and folks will be surprised at how well he can pressure the quarterback. You can't get any more impactful than plug-and-play players, and that's what the Bucs have in both tackle Tristan WIRFS out of Iowa and safety Antoine Winfield Jr. out of Minnesota. Both guys were drafted because of their pro readiness, and I wouldn't expect them to disappoint as rookies. Tampa really nailed those two selections in this past April's draft. Tom Brady is the biggest offensive X factor. He was specifically targeted to get this team to the Super Bowl, and while that's very lofty expectations for one player, a more realistic one will be that the team makes the playoffs, and it'll be up to Brady to help deliver on that. Defensively, I look at SHAQ. Barrett was last year an anomaly or a sign of more things to come. He will have to have another stellar season rushing a quarterback for both personal reasons, financial reasons, as well as the overall team success. Look for Justin Watson to emerge as the Bucs' third option at receiver, fully breaking out into a solid, dependable option on the perimeter. He's both athletic and physical and will be a solid run after the catch player this season. Defensively, I look at second-year player Jamel Dean taking a major step forward this upcoming season. We saw him catch fire late last year, and I believe we'll see him carry that momentum into the 2020 season. One of the major reasons for optimism for Tampa Bay is the fact that they have a lot of offensive potential. We know about the number one rated passing offense that we saw last year, expected to be top 5 again this season with Tom Brady joining all of those weapons they have on the perimeter. But the run game with the rebuilt offensive line could help this offense be the top in the NFL. And defensively, their front seven has a chance to be special. Their defense as a whole, with the youth and athleticism they've cultivated on the back end, guys that are able to turn the ball over, along with the pressure they're able to provide up front. The front end can definitely help out the back end, and Tampa's defense could be also tops in the NFL potentially. And their special teams got a boost this offseason when they added Raymond Calais from Louisiana. The former Raging Cajun does a great job in scoring the football. He is explosive, he's dynamic, and any boost they can get in the third facet of a football game could only help them out moving forward. They got better in that regard. A major cause for concern would be if the Tom Brady that we saw last year in New England shows up in Tampa Bay, because to be quite honest, Tom Brady looked like last year was probably his last season. Didn't look like himself. He was ineffective going deeper down the field. Now, granted, they do have some great weapons around him, but if that Tom Brady shows up to Tampa, it could be a problem. It could also be a problem if the run game doesn't build off the success we saw it have late last season. If they're able to still not be able to run the football consistently along with the ineffective Tom Brady, this offense as a whole could take a significant step backwards. The road to the Super Bowl for the Buccaneers goes as follows. If Tom Brady is able to regain his form and gel quickly with the weapons that he has at his disposal on the perimeter, this offense shouldn't miss a beat. And defensively, if they're able to smother on both ends, stopping the run like they did last year, they were number 1 in the league, and pass defense, if they're able to sack the quarterback at a high clip as well as turn the ball over, the offense and defense will complement one another. And if the run game really is a key part of their offense, if they're able to run the football with some semblance of balance, this team could stay home in February playing in the Super Bowl. I have Tampa finishing second in the NFC South. This is a very talented football team. They were last year, and they had a couple of bad breaks, mainly with the turnovers. I do think that number will significantly be cut in half. I also look at the offense being dynamic as it was last season. Defensively is where I believe the Bucs will take a bigger step forward this year, which will help them not only compete for the division, but compete deeper into the playoffs. So that's it for this edition of Football Game Plan's NFL All 32. I am Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. And don't forget to check out and subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Also subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast and leave us a 5-star rating. That's where you can find our NFL All 32 podcast. And keep it locked here on the Football Game Plan YouTube channel as we have a ton of Bucs related video content coming down the pike.
It's D-U-E, you tell I see you by this point, you're reading my mind. It's time for football. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, man. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, yeah.